Ko tapu ai te awa ko ngā toki mata whaurua te waka, ko maunga taniwha te maunga, ko Hokianga whakapau karakia te moana, ko ngai tūpoto te hapu no Motukaraka hau, ko ngā huia te wahine rangatira, ko Nikau ahau.
Te Uru Aute is a kaupapa that brings Nikau and I together in a tuakana and taina relationship centred around this tipu rangatira or this plant Aute, and we've spent the last 4 months together in an apprenticeship type program where Nikau's been imparting all of her knowledge to me about this kaupapa Aute.
Teaching is a really big part of my practice, because as a cultural practitioner of Aute, it's also my responsibility to pass on this mātauranga to another generation of makers so that the knowledge doesn't just end with me. This wānanga is a masterclass on Aute for this Taiohi Taioha cohort. It's a really special wānanga because it's at my marae, Motukaraka marae, ngai tūpoto marae, and we're sleeping in my wharenga huia. We've been taking them through the first beat process and then the second beat process. Because this is like a learning process, and it's actually really important for you to understand that what you do when you peel it off the rako impacts what happens later down the track. So I actually need you to remember which ones that you do individually. Moisture and water and all of that is like the most important aspect. So you want them to be really juicy and wet. The knots, these are going to be the difficult parts for us, but actually, you know, you'll be able to work through them. But there's some big pieces. I'm actually looking at these, I can't even work out what's going to be a hard one or what's going to be an easy one. It really just depends on how like committed you are to the process.
I think it's the first time that Nikau has ever spent this amount of time with a student, and I think it's a real testament to where she is as a practitioner and her vision for the future of Aute makers in Aotearoa. We have yet to see the full potential of Aute, but we can look across Te Moana Nui Akiwa to see it adorning bodies, you know, hung up on walls, adorning whare, to communicate mātauranga, and to kind of embody this relationship between tāne mahuta or tā ngāhere.
If you're just watching, I'm just following the grain, and it's just going to rip, you know? It's just going to make its own, and you can use scissors or the knife to kind of like help that process along. Yeah, that one's pretty stuck. Yeah, do you want to chuck this back in the water? Yeah, so I'm going to just carefully do this. It's really helpful if you like me mea kei te tino mōhio koe I tō maripi, so you know the like sharpness of your knife. And I'll just do this cut here. I've realised what is important to me about doing Aute. I love to take people through the process of making Aute and watching them enjoy the things that I love about the transformation of the cloth. this angle to be all the way. You want it to be like against itself. Yeah. I'm not sure. You want to keep dunking your aute in the water. You want it to have lots of water in it because we're cleaning it and we're like cleansing it. So I'm just going to start beating. And kind of just breaking down the fibres. Mā te tuakana te taina e whakatika, mā te taina te tuakana e whakatika. The tuakana will teach the taina, but the taina will also teach the tuakana.
But also how easily it works. I think I'm in awe sometimes when I can pick up a tool now or look at a piece of aute and discern what needs to be done to really respect the plant. And I think there's a knowing in me now that I maybe didn't have before.
Tētahi aku tino wawata ki te whakarākai I tētahi aku whare I te aute. One of my big dreams is to adorn a whare with aute because a whare nui is alive and it contains all of our stories and it's the ultimate platform for our mahitoi, our toi Māori, and it's a place where you sleep in and, you know, grieve in and celebrate. And so to have aute in a whare would be, yeah, my ultimate dream. My dad and my auntie were just talking before about how they grew up and that you'd never go to the beach to go for a swim. You'd only go to the beach to gather kaimoana, and everything that they did was really intentional. There was, especially in their day, an abundance of kai, but only if you go out and gather it and know where to go and know your whenua and know the spots. My dad has shown me his aroha through kai and through gathering kai, and that looks like shucking 100 oysters for this wānanga and filleting dozens and dozens of fish That is aroha. That is also working with your hands to prepare kai for people, for whānau, for your hapori. With kai, we're having this close relationship with kai, you need to also have a close relationship with your taiao. And I think with the mahi that I do, it's similar because you have to be in tune with the environment to create aute. You have to understand what the moon is doing, you have to understand what the seasons are doing. Everything is connected and contributes to the process. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. Sap.
You might want to like on the mat. Too much.
We'll use 1, 2, 3. So yeah, 1, 2, and you guys will do 1 is right for all the different pieces. So you always have to kind of learn to like read it and adapt it depending on the thickness. Yeah.
I think that's what Kyla, I'd leave a couple for, have you done a big one? I just leave a couple for like a yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's worth doing it today or you want to do it tomorrow.
I feel like you have a better memory than me about what is what.
what do you mean?
This one is ngau tu. Yeah. We've got 2 ngau pai on the side. Ngau pai, and ngau matariki.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can see it.
We're going to just straight away come in with ngau pai. If this was a fermented piece that needed more spreading, then I would use the ngau tu. Right, so if it was thicker piece that it needed more spreading out, I'd use ngau tu. But because it's already really thin, it's just the right thinness that I want, I'm just going to use ngau pai. And so this beating process, basically you can see how it leaves the shape of the grooves, and by beating it, you're compressing and joining the fibres together. Really carefully, because
I really love tools now and I think that's something that I've grown into, being someone who really loves to make tools and, you know, groove wood and be in relationship with a piece of, you know, native timber like rata, like this, and to have so much respect for it because it allows me to carry out my practice in the best way possible.
Tools are important because the quality of your cloth is dependent on the quality of your tools. That was a really cool thing about the Uru Aute, this project with Rongomai, is that we made her a set of tools and she'll have those tools forever. I think she's come to learn to love and value her tools.
Toi or Toi Māori is just really using our hands to tell stories that our tupuna have already installed in us, and also tell stories about observations and how we see the world and how that's integral to our being as Māori.
The way that Aute is carried on into the future must honour and respect the whakapapa of Aute. I hope that the way that I teach Aute to the next generation of makers means that Aute is made in a way that is tika, in a way that honours relationships, in a way that honours the plant and the taiao, and that in the future we see Aute on the stage of Te Matatini or in our wharenui, and that Aute becomes part of the diverse and beautiful landscape that is Toi Māori.
These types of transformations happen when you are in a safe and trusting space, being enabled and empowered to do these things. Yeah, really transforms your kitenga, or the way that you begin to feel and move in the world. I hope the next iteration of Te Uru Aute continues to work in a place that privileges time and aroha and trust, and that this kind of network of practitioners can continue to come together to share with one another and learn from one another. There is mana in sharing mātauranga and whakapapa through well-worn hands and new. Power is past, and the connections are seen through the whakairo and the beauty of the work. He uri tēnei no te tai toke rau, ko Ngāti Pakahi, ko Ngāti Moroki, ko Ngāti Hau Ngāhapu, ko te rārawa, ko Ngāpuhi, ko Ngāti Wainga Iwi, ko Rongomai Grbic-Hoskins ahau.